you know,
Prefer than here.
yeah, exactly. And you're a senior, right?
I'm not.
You're not.
You
I
have
did
to
not
deal
know
with
that.
me for another year.
Oh, well,
I
okay.
thought you were a senior. I'm
That'll
pleased
buy
to
me
hear
some
that.
scotch tonight.
I miss what you said.
I said that'll buy me some scotch tonight. So, I thought you were a senior, my mistake.
So it would have been champagne if you were happy, just to be
Yeah.
clear.
No,
I'm having
pretty much
champagne.
scotch either way, but,
Yeah.
That's America. Do what you want.
yeah, but if you know of anybody, yeah, let us tell them, talk it up. You were kind of actively recruited, I believe. So,
I wasn't necessarily
Oh.
recruited, more of you're doing this whether you like it or not.
you were told, got it.
Yes.
Who told you that?
Well, so
Was it me?
no, it was
Yeah.
Mrs. Peterson. I was at Hy-Vee minding my own business, working, right? And then she comes through the checkout lane and she's like, "You're doing cyber, right?" And I'm like, I was thinking about it, and she's like, you do it. And I wasn't really given much of a choice in that regard. Then Oxel messages me, didn't necessarily ask me. He's like, "So this is the information."
We'll see you there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I wasn't necessarily given a choice per se. Some people are persistent and don't really
Take no for an answer.
exactly.
Axel's like, hey, here you're on cyber.
So, yeah. So yeah, if you know somebody, I would have sworn up and down you were a senior. My bad. In fact, I think I put you in as a senior. So
No, I understand. I am old for my grade. I was born old into my grade, and I also generally act older. Sometimes it depends on the day and how much caffeine I've had.
You were born as an old man.
I was
Yeah.
born an old man. Yes. No. Yeah.
And Isaac's, I mean, 8th grade-ish, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we'll have him.
he'll be here for a while.
Yep. 8th grade-ish.
Yeah.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm older than that.
Are you?
Or am I?
I could have sworn you were like only 19 years
I
old.
was a junior. Aren't we in the same class?
You know,
I thought I saw you in
if I
chemistry
start
the
to
other
define
day.
age, if you define age by chronology or by maturity, you know?
Or ability.
So,
Whoops.
Wait, this mouse is just for decoration. I don't have a mouse pad. So...
I'm sure you can probably find a mouse pad out there.
Wait, hold up. I have an idea.
You said, oh, no.
Do you suppose?
No, I do
No,
not.
that will not work.
Oh, that'll definitely not work.
Yeah, no.
It'll be
Well,
it'll be a
Let's
pain.
try it. Let's try it.
Paper will
The
go.
paper,
Just
that's what
go
I'm saying. It'll be a move. It'll move on.
I don't have a book. It'd be funny. Hear me out.
Go get a pick up.
We're doing it. Here's the thing though. It'll be
Here's
funny.
to have made up his mind.
It'd be funny. Hear me out. It'll be funny. Yes, it works just fine.
That's hilarious.
That's exactly why I'm doing it.
Might be some tape.
Hey, Dad, it works. It works.
Oh,
works.
because you're holding the heel, the palm, this part of your hand down.
Yes, sir.
Heel? I've been speaking fluent Japanese for so long. What's this called? Base, heel,
No say.
We'll call it the
What?
heel. We'll call it the heel.
heel. Okay,
What?
so
We'll do like Spanish. When they say toes, they say fingers of the foot. This is
Yeah.
the heel of the hand.
this, in German, this is my arm clock.
Hey Isaac, what's the pixel perfect size for Bilho font?
All right.
See,
Are
okay,
you on
You were using it.
I'm
You're using this.
on Teams.
Heck, yes.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 11.
Where is the teams?
That looks pretty.
It's, for some reason, it's not on my calendar for today. So
No, this will probably work better.
I did it
See how
for-
this goes.
I did the one for next
there you
week. If
go.
you look at a calendar,
Oh, this
but
is
it should be
fast.
someplace
Thank you,
in
Jen.
Zulip right?
This was still funny. We got it. That was funny.
Oh.
Anybody see where the leak is in Zulip? Give a shout out.
In 2025-03-01 meeting.
All
Oh,
right,
one.
301.
Okay.
Link to what?
Teams meeting.
Yeah, it's just the,
Oh, I just have it bookmarked.
We'll see. I have to see if this new Java version fixes autopsy.
Ducks ruled the world. When did that stop?
Someone came up with this other mascot. You've heard of it? Xenia?
What?
No?
What?
No?
I'm not gonna pull it up
Okay, hold on.
because I'm recording. It could be unsavory.
Fire up it. All right. Okay.
The next,
What is it called?
Xenia? Yes.
Okay. So while they're
It's an Xbox 360.
No. Search mascots.
engaged in risque behavior, I'm happy that we have stretched out
People
this
prefer
meeting.
this mascot.
This matches my preparation perfectly.
Okay.
We have two things that I think we're going to do with the rest of our 2-hour meeting. And one is that somebody, Axel was involved, I know.
Yes, Kaizek, Oxel, and I.
Thank you, has a demo of Jira. So I assume we're looking at Jira as a possible replacement for GitHub tasks, issues rather.
Yes.
And so we want to do that. And then I have priceless gifts from Japan.
Oh no.
They're the same things you guys would have got if you were there. And I don't know what they are.
I have one other item.
Oh,
I just
there we go.
wanted to touch on some of the things we did in the last 2 weeks. So we did talk a lot of 2 weeks ago about teamwork, and I want to say that I see that you guys have been stepping up. I see that there's been attempts to do more involvement of quieter people. I see that there's been, yeah, I know, we're all looking at you.
You guys got out of his shell.
I thought you meant co-op.
Yeah.
Koa spends all of his time bad mouthing Kaizen.
Oh.
We don't need to get Koa involved. He's already in there.
But also the idea, but also.
Case in point.
Also the idea of, when, oh, we're gonna work on this during the week. Well, who exactly and when exactly are they going to do so? And then the accountability factor of actually then presenting the next week, which is something that is gonna happen here. I just want to let you know that I've seen that, I appreciate it, and I think it can do nothing but great things, both for this as a team, but also for you and your future life. I mean, this is kind of how the work world works. And if you're going to college and you're, you form a study group, that's how study groups work. And if you aren't comfortable with that in a study group, you will get booted out and then you're on your own. So, but yeah, I just want to say that I really appreciate that. I think it's been really great. So, okay.
Yeah, and I saw the who's gonna die exercise. And I what I really liked, and I saw
Was that
Some-
recorded?
yeah, I'm recording. And-
No, I mean,
No.
No, there was a
our-
document. It might have, there was
No,
a
we can
document
record that.
someplace.
Just make sure you guys- Like we talked about, so you guys have political futures in there.
Yeah. Plausible deniability, but I saw it.
Okay, well, I also was no better. That was Tristan, let's be real. We were all really bad.
What I liked about, so just to be clear to the recording, I saw some document that some people put together for some exercise somewhere that involved deciding which half of a group of 16 people would live and die. It probably wasn't you guys. It had some similar names on it. But what I liked about it was, there was just an acceptance of the task and a rational approach. But I liked that, the focus was on who's going to live, who do we need, right? And not so much like who needs that guy, they're out, Yeah, well, not so much. Well, but the decision
Yeah.
was based on positive criteria, even though I'm sure the discussion had a full discussion, but, right? I mean, once you put the document together, that's like work too. You're not gonna sell a decision based on, we're not using that one because it sucks, right? You're gonna have to say, and will do this, like a lot of times we have to have 3 alternatives we looked at. And sometimes we'll put a dog into the race,
Just because.
even though we are very sure that's not our decision, but we'll have to evaluate it on the same criteria. And usually it's like, as we thought, this one just doesn't stack up, right? But we have to put it through its paces. So I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, well, anything else, less students?
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's what I have. I mean, for
Mhm.
that portion for
Yeah.
last week, I'll let you.
Yeah.
You were more.
Yeah.
You were the leader on that one.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think we had a good dialogue. So it's kind of building on some of the leadership skills, right? So talking about now, how do we get more organized at a task level? Kind of going into the competition, what we talked about is, it's very important we all understand what is our workflow like when we pass tasks around and we're doing things. How do we kind of document how do we do that as a team? And then all be on the same page with what that workflow looks like. So we're not spending time, with maybe tasks that aren't being handed off correctly, or, things like that, or maybe things are sitting like, oh, I thought you maybe were working on this, or, just having a smoother flow, and documenting what that really looks like. And then also the gap analysis. So looking at, what tools help us with our flow, and what are our gaps? So the team, Axel, kind of put a framework together that we reviewed. We talked about the gaps, and that actually kind of led to the presentation today. So the guys did an awesome job of, okay, so we see these gaps. Let's see, maybe Jira, or maybe some sort of software application that can help us there, kind of fill the gaps. And that's what's leading to the presentation today. So
Cool.
Axel, do you have something you want to add to that?
Yeah, so we're not quite at the presentation yet. But what I've got here, when we get there, I'm gonna have Michael do our main demonstration. And then, yeah, because Michael, Isaac, and I spent about an hour setting up a bit of a demo and getting familiar with the software. We can then get, if people like how this works, we can get a few people signed on to, what do they call it, an organization or something?
Yes.
And then, yeah, an organization. And then I've got a about halfway complete document
Mhm.
that I've been working on about task management. That I might show that off a little bit. Just as the documentation guy. Chris, you had something?
I might have. I think I was going to mention.
There you go, Chris. I think your mic was off.
My mic, yeah, something was wrong with the mic. It's back.
Oh, good. I was concerned there for a minute.
Oh, good.
All right, well, should we hand it over to the guys here?
Let the man, the myth, the legend,
All right.
Michael Tice.
All right,
It
Michael.
is me.
Yeah.
It
Whenever
is
you're
chicken riz.
The chicken riz, yo.
And Chris, if we can have that up on the.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Figure out how to
Be
sort
right with
it
you
out.
here.
Cyber triage.
Are you reverse engineering something?
Don't worry about it.
So yes,
I said don't worry about it.
I'm not worried.
I'm working on
Just
it.
concerned.
That's right, isn't it?
Well timed.
Sharing now.
No, that's not.
Do you have to move it over to them?
Yeah, you have to move it over. Now you're sharing your screen.
Yeah. What do I want to share?
Hey, Chris has been on vacation for
want
2
to-
weeks, okay?
He watched me trying to log on.
You want to move team?
And I do not want to share my
No.
screen.
Yeah.
Where's the stop? There's the stop. I missed it. Okay,
All right, Chris.
perfectly capable.
Then I'll be sharing
Rule of the
again.
world. I use Windows.
Somebody chose the name Dan Tice.
That was me, sorry.
All right, I gotta need to represent cubes of life.
Okay, where's the pop?
It actually
Wait,
shows.
It popped
I
out
know.
over here.
Wait.
Pop it out.
Okay, why
It's
is
bigger.
your laptop going Super Saiyan? I don't know.
All right.
What?
So Michael, what are we
Okay.
looking at?
So we are currently looking at the Kanban board for the demo 2025 Jira thing project. I think that's what it uses. So we have these cards with issues, and we can put them in different columns, such which we had the idea of basically having these as our like stages. So we need to describe what the process is. We need to describe what the problem is. We can say it's currently in the process, it's being worked on. Now somebody's done it, but it needs to be verified by somebody else. It's been verified, but now it needs to be put into the documentation, whether that be our internal documentation or white team or green team. And then once that's done, it's moved to the rightmost column and it's done. So let's say, oh no, I'm on our dub server and I found a vulnerability. So I'm gonna say dub vulnerability, if I can spell. And you know, it's not, if we don't get it, it's not necessarily the end of the world. So it's probably about medium priority. So I can say, on the dub server, someone can log in using the taco user. And then I can go down to labels and go, yeah, I don't know what that label is.
Oh, that's
It's just
something
something.
else that we're working on. Ignore that.
Dub server. Cool. And now I can decide, I want to assign this to somebody. So, congratulations, Oxel, you're now assigned to this issue. Cool, congratulations. And now it's created a card,
And he's described it.
and I have described it, which means that if Oxel wants to come on and start working on it, he can move it to process and start working on it. Now, one annoying thing about Jira is that you have to hard refresh the board
This is just the board.
just for the board. For
Mhm.
some reason, the issues manager, which looks a lot more like how GitHub does their issues. Yeah, in any case, this for some reason updates automatically.
Well, you still need to click the little wheel on the left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's not a hard refresh. I don't know why they do it like this, but in any case, most of our work is asynchronous, so it won't matter that much anyways.
Yeah, it shows the message though, right? I had your screen zoomed in, but at work anyway, we see a message that says so-and-so has changed the board or so-and-so has,
Okay.
it's a
I have
different, maybe not.
I have
Okay.
not seen those.
I don't know the differences in versions. But cool.
So just as a curiosity, so that has been shifted to the, well, it would be Oxel then moving it to process. Once Oxel gets the process done, he would shift it to verification. Can he add somebody then or change who
Yes.
is
Yes.
responsible then?
So,
Because it'd be better to have the what's that, verification, be done by somebody else.
Absolutely.
yeah. So, I'll pretend I'm Oxel for a second, and I'll move this.
I'm doing it, so it's been working.
I'll move. Okay, it's already been moved or it's been deleted. Huzzah. Okay, so move to process. I'm gonna pretend that I'm Oxel for a second and I'm gonna go. Yes, this is done. Done. This could be Taco user. And it'll go there, and then I will assign it to Isaac Hansen for verification.
And you also move it.
Yes.
Yes.
And now at some point, Isaac would come along and go, yep, I verified that it no longer exists. Moving it to documentation, and maybe goes to Isaac for documentation.
You do not want me to document that, dude.
Well, then do that anyway, and then Isaac can assign somebody else to do the documentation.
You want, if you have me document things, it's gonna be illegible nonsense in a text file, dude. It's not even in a PDF.
So,
I'm horrible like that.
Well, that would be a great thing to demo that. Oh, yeah, you signed it to Isaac and Isaac says, nope, not me, and assigns it to somebody else.
yes.
That'd be a great thing to demo.
Okay. So, let's say Isaac doesn't actually want to verify it and wants me to verify it instead.
Come on, Isaac.
You're all right.
Okay.
So he can actually assign it to me.
That's pretty nice.
And
Yep,
it shows
so
a
now
notification on the top right.
Yes, in the top right, tells me, hey, I've been assigned an issue. So I can go in here. And actually what I can do is I can click on history and it'll show me who did things to the issue. So we can see right here, Isaac Hansen changed the assignee.
Right.
And that in the heat of the bat, like when you guys are in the heat of things, right? Having some of that history and stuff is gonna really help you guys out.
And it's more like a history, whereas you can see stuff in GitHub issues, but it's a conversation
Yeah.
and it's not as,
Well, I mean, there can be a
Easy.
conversation.
yeah.
There is comments. You
Mhm.
can also see who did things to the issue
Yeah.
itself.
There's more than one view.
Yes.
which is nice.
And you can also just have them all at the same time.
And that's the only view in GitHub right there. That one.
Tristan stuck through his alarm.
The neat thing,
Yeah, this guy.
I was wondering for Tristan,
This dude.
This guy.
Two no.
you know, the
That's
other,
it. All issues get transferred to Tristan.
Tristan.
Fortunately, Tristan's not on the thing.
Oh.
So, you can also do this thing where you can basically link issues together. So I have this issue. I need to figure out who let the dogs out. Think it was Mr. Astley, but there are some logs in /Etsy that I need to check to make sure. But it is blocked by issue con 7. So we go over here and well, I can't get into Etsy because it won't let me in even with sudo privileges. So this needs to be done first before the other one can be done.
He thinks that's funny.
He does. He's right.
He thinks that's
Tristan cracks me up.
funny.
Tristan is very.
I get a message and it's like frickety frick. I slept past my alarm.
Let's see.
This guy.
This guy.
So, one interesting thing about tasks in Jira is
We encourage him to just connect online.
Yeah.
Because by the time he drives
That's what I'm telling him.
okay. So, let's say I want to make a task, and we have a summary, a priority description, assignee, but let's say I want to add a field. There's some field that I want us to put on all of our tasks, but in GitHub, there's nothing like that. Like, for example, this doesn't have a due date on it. There's nowhere where I can attach a due date. But
There's priorities though. That's kind of cool.
yes. And that was actually added with what I'm about to show you,
Ooh, fancy.
assuming I remember where it is.
On
Oh, there's a time
on the
too.
left.
On the left. Where oh, it's probably in
Yep, it's in there.
Yep, project settings, right?
Yeah, and then issue types.
Okay, so this is not it.
On the left.
Oh, on the left.
Not it.
Yes. So tasks. We can actually add description fields into the task. So I can add a paragraph and give it a name. I can add a checkbox, timestamp or a date, which can be very useful for keeping us on track and making sure stuff is done on time. Basically, if we need to add something to our issues, it's really easy to go and do it. But, yes, I don't. Yep. All right. So there is a timeline thing. It's very confusing. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
this is meant for like epics. So
Yeah.
like larger bodies of work.
So yeah, so it's kind of more like the milestone system in GitHub.
Yep.
Now it's slightly better than the milestone system because this one also has a start date. But it's basically the milestone system. And if we can just add a due date to our tasks, there isn't really a need for that.
Yeah, you guys' timelines are pretty short. That's meant for like,
Yeah.
I got a 6 month or a year-long deliverable. How do I break it up? You
Yep.
know?
Yep, but I think that's everything.
Sounds like it is. I'm not thinking of anything.
What's the code page here in Mira? Did you guys mess around much with that?
We did not.
Oh,
Probably like get management. or
Yeah, so you can connect GitHub to this.
I could almost see benefit with that for scripts that we use in the VMs, just to have a record of scripts we use to clean things.
I mean, I
up.
suppose so.
Maybe that might be overkill, but
From what my experience is using GitHub for that sort of thing, it's a lot more convenient to be able to download the script onto the VM, and that's really tough with a private repo.
that's true. Because then you need to load in your creds and everything.
Yeah. We might just create a throwaway GitHub user for that or something. Who knows?
That actually might be a good idea.
I could see benefit in that.
I can see benefit in that.
But then we need GitHub CLI installed.
It's not that painful to install.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not that bad.
More surface area though.
It is more surface area, but
Oh,
we can
well,
always
here.
uninstall it when we're
Yeah,
done.
no.
Like it's not a
We
big
install GitHub CLI, we download the GitHub thing, and then we get rid of CLI.
Nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was everything, Michael.
think
Good
that-
job presenting that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna press the share button. Does that work? The share button?
That's what I pressed.
Let's see if it works.
Well, Axel's getting set up. I'll say one thing. Can you imagine you guys are in the competition, right? If you guys get a bottleneck too, right? Let's say have a bunch of tasks that are piling up. You can start to think about then, how do I get maybe more people swarming on that effort to get it through the funnel? Versus if you can't visually see it, sometimes it's hard to understand where your workflow bottlenecks are at too,
Yep.
right?
One other, you can actually like filter by label.
Yep.
So if you want to say, I need people to start looking at the Active Directory server. Well, it's actually really easy to do that because you can just
Filter for that label.
filter for the AD server.
Yep.
That's really nice. That's a lot better than issues management. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, technically you can do that on GitHub issues, but this one also shows you where they are in the pipeline.
Wonderful.
It's wonderful.
And did you guys feel like we looked at the gaps? Did you feel like the gaps that you guys identified, did you feel like they're filled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we did go through the gaps we found on the document, and we were like, well, okay, this one's completed by the existence of a Kanban board.
Yep.
This one's completed.
Yeah, I'm
This
gonna go
one's-
over that now,
Yeah.
actually.
Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So we identified a few gaps in our current process of task management with GitHub. First one is for vulnerability hunting, or even just task management in general.
Holy crap! It's Tristan.
We've got Echo.
Mute.
Unmuted.
Wait, no, that has to be echo on Tristan's end.
Yeah, well, coming from him back to us.
Come on,
So-
Tristan, get good.
Alright.
Hey,
Give
man.
me a second.
Mute.
Our first gap was we just don't have a process, especially for vulnerability hunting. I've been working on that. It's a big document. I think I've got it under control. And then we can review that when it gets finished. Let's see. The other big ones, GitHub, it's terrible to set a deadline even with milestones.
Yes.
And Epic is a lot more convenient with Jira.
And even even forgetting epics, we can just set a due date on each issue individually.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Let's see. Completion, yeah, GitHub really doesn't let you move tasks between stages. So that's why that's the primary reason we chose Jira, because it has like a Kanban board system. And to solve this one, we could have just had some Kanban board that integrates with GitHub, but Jira adds some more features that are also nice. The final one was it's really hard to get verification done with GitHub. Most of our verification is outside GitHub, but the stuff that should be in there is saying we need verification. And that just falls back into that completion stages thing.
Makes sense.
So yeah, what I've got here is I'm about halfway done here with a document saying how our task management works. Got a whole section here. I've got a whole section here on how to set up a new Jira project with all of our needs. Got like labels and epics and what Michael mentioned about adding extra properties to our tasks. Just setting up all of it, which I think will really help us, especially in future years.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yes. Of course, the main thing I haven't finished is the actual process of everything. So
That
That's
may or
the
may
tough
not be the
part.
most important thing.
yeah.
To left off, tired, sleep needed.
Yes, yes.
That's how you know that he was doing this at 2 a.m. in the morning.
1:30, thank you.
Gotta get sleep.
The Kaiser, did you have anything to add? You are also on this team.
You got something, come on.
Make something up.
Yeah.
Someone tries to just make crap up.
Spread misinformation.
When somebody hands you the ball, you gotta take a shot.
Okay.
Bam.
Do what I do and just make a hot take. Just say a hot take.
What are your thoughts on Jira, sir?
Why didn't you get off?
Now that's a
All
hot
right.
take.
Now that's a hot take.
There
and
you
I
go.
like it.
Perfect segue. What do we think of using Jira instead of GitHub? Because personally, I like it. I think my little team here likes it. What about the rest of you?
With that demonstration, I think it's better for our use case. Personally.
That's really your guys' call. My whole goal is I wanted you guys to go through, like, because you're gonna do this in your job and things in the future, right? You're gonna go through, find gaps in processes and how do you fill them? And, do you find value in that product or whatever that you chose, right?
Well, I think if the four of us decide we want Jira more, that's majority, and the rest of the people don't matter.
If Tristan has a problem, then I can beat him with a stick until he agrees.
I do think this should be unanimous. So,
Yeah,
Tristan, what do you think?
All right. First of all, I do have to say my audio quality is pretty terrible as I'm using my AirPods for both mic and headset. So can you guys understand me first of all?
Yep.
I can hear you.
No, we don't understand you in the slightest.
Okay, good to know. All right. Second of all, I do once again apologize. I thought I set up a little bit too late, and I must have forgotten to set my alarm. That would be completely my fault. I won't let it happen again for future meetings, so you guys won't have to worry about this being a continuous problem. But that would be why I'm attending virtually instead of in person, as I usually prefer. And second of all, and third, I guess, off of what I've seen about Jira definitely has a much more deadline and just an overall better task management system than GitHub and Epic. I don't know what the system Epic is, but I trust you guys to come up with efficient solutions. So I know that, so I can back Epic with full confidence. But Jira though specifically, I definitely prefer way more than GitHub. I can say that much.
That sounds unanimous.
That sounds unanimous.
That sounds unanimous.
That sounds monanimous.
And I think as you guys mature too, you'll actually use Jira and combine GitHub processes together.
Probably use GitHub,
Right.
like use
Yeah.
GitHub for data management.
Yeah,
And then use Jira for managing
Workflow management.
Workflow, the
Yeah.
workflow.
Yeah.
Connect the code to the process.
Exactly. And that's that maturity part I'm talking about. Once you guys, start building automated scripts and
Mhm.
you tie in
Yeah.
issues to your workflow.
Speaking
Right.
of automated scripts, we should write a script and purge cron jobs. On an unrelated side note,
I think we had something like that. If you check the other repo.
I just made a grep command that would just scan the entire file system for cron tabs. I just had
Oh,
a
yeah,
cron-
that-
I just had
that's
a
what
I
that
just had a
is, yeah.
grep command that just did that. It worked. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I stole it from Stack Overflow, by the way, unironically.
Did you give them credit? No.
Don't say stolen stack over. That's CC with attribution. That's Creative Commons with attribution. That's contract law violation, buddy.
I don't have an account. What are they going to do? Find me?
Yes.
They are now that Axel knows.
Yes.
And it's recorded. So what do you guys see as
have issues with those mics?
so what do you guys see as next steps then? So it sounds like you kind of made a decision as a group, right? You see value. And it sounds like, what Dan was saying, we could have the competition, information could be out in the next week or so. So is there anything we need to do maybe to take advantage of this time before that's out to kind of prepare for the inflow of work, right? What do you guys kind of see there?
How do we secure Windows machines?
I can do Linux. I can't do Windows.
That's
That's the
thing.
issue.
That's the issue. We can do. I have confidence in our ability to secure Linux. I don't have confidence in my ability to secure Windows, and I'm not sure many people in here are very comfortable with Windows.
The only person I think really understands it is Tristan, and that's not a lot of people.
I would tend to agree. I would tend to agree that one is not many people.
So maybe that's a few tasks. Maybe we have Tristan do some demonstrations, like what's on your guys' mind coming up. Maybe there's some things that Tristan can demo for the group here and kind of help everybody get, you're not going to have the deep knowledge maybe Tristan has, but enough to get you guys at a more comfortable
Just
level.
something, a way to secure it that's better than just uninstalling an operating system and putting Linux on it.
Right.
Something better than that.
Exactly.
That's
like-
like
There are a few things I specifically want to go over. Like one, how do we check for eternal blue?
Yeah, that crushed you guys.
That crushed us.
Yeah.
You can only get rid of it if they
Talked about
like.
it.
I don't
Yeah,
know
you
how to
patch.
get rid of
Yeah,
it.
patch
You
For
shouldn't
firewall
patch it.
filtering, you filter out the packets.
That's a hard, that's a.
But that's
well,
like
Which generally do
445 or
PF
something.
stats or something.
But then you
stupid
start
like
breaking
that.
your services, right? You
Yep.
you gotta,
And then number two, how do we actually check logs without using event viewer? Because event viewers.
Oh, didn't you use the GitHub modules for it? I mentioned that to Henry, huh?
I've never heard the rig get.
Yeah, so that's what to do. Make a list of
I
this week of practical Windows things you want to learn.
I talked with Tristan.
From a coaching perspective, so what I'm hearing is that Tristan, and isn't Henry also pretty capable on Windows?
Yeah, he
No.
does. Oh,
And I know he can't be doing things in the competition, at least for this one, but Tristan, if you were okay with this, I would suggest that if you're doing things with Windows machines that we have somebody else with you that's basically learning it so that you aren't the only person that so you can share the knowledge and hopefully you're okay with that. It also is the case that you really learn very well when you were teaching. So would you be okay with that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
I would also say, like, regarding 99% of our issues in competitions, it entirely just comes down to actually patching your Windows machines. Because, like, Eternal Blue, there are multiple things on Windows that we don't know that are vulnerabilities beyond just Eternal Blue, that the only way that we can fix them is just by patching. So, just like as a little tidbit of Windows knowledge, if you guys literally don't know how to do anything else on Windows, just start running updates. Typically, that'll solve like 99% of your problems. And other 1% are going to be stuff that they like back doors that they put into your systems and whatever.
The only time we've had Eternal Blue in a high school competition, they let us patch over it. And that doesn't mean that that's what they'd let us do this time, but just by patching, teams got rid of it. And it was still an amazing number of teams that got um, that were vulnerable to it.
Well, for the competition though, didn't they break Windows updates? So you had to actually.
They had it point to a different update.
Right, so you guys had to
Yeah.
fix that first.
So
But I don't think they
one time,
patch up to current.
many times, one of the things they do is they use group policy to basically block you from doing Windows updates. How do we get around that?
So who's making a list?
Well,
We need-
that's what I was thinking.
Right now,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, who's making a
I'm
list?
opening Tulip and making a list.
So
Yeah, I would
Um,
appreciate if somebody could make a list of this stuff, then post it on the Zulip. That way, across the week, I can look over that list and take care of those tasks, and then demo the solutions on next week.
Yeah,
Can I
or
make
even the
another threat?
wiki
You
and
could use,
GitHub.
you could use Jira, right? So like these are all tasks.
Yeah.
That you think about in your workflow leading up. You could just build out those tasks in your Jira
Mhm.
board, assign them to whoever for demonstration purposes. Right?
Okay.
And the how-to could be in the team wiki.
Yeah,
But yes, so far we've got Windows log was one. And what just got mentioned,
well, we have Windows log, patching,
Pat, yeah,
patching
Eternal Blue kind of goes into that.
policy.
and maybe how to repoint Windows patching
Yeah,
if we have time.
yeah, because I think that's what they did to kind of
Yeah.
slow you guys down.
Well, and
Yeah, I think that boils down to managing Active Directory because the group policy was enforced by AD.
yeah,
It was in the
Well-
local policy, but it was also in the AD policy, at least for
Well,
the college
so-
competition.
If managing Active Directory is group policy, like that's what
Well,
Active
there was
Directory
the-
is.
There was the local group policy, but then there was the Active Directory policy that was enforced across all machines. It was layered.
yeah, we
Well,
might want to,
yeah.
you might want to
Yeah,
tackle that in different scopes though, Tristan, because there's managing AD. The first thing people think of is users and computers, at that level, and permissions and things like that. But then group policy, where you actually have to go into the policies to make changes, most people conceive of that as being a different animal. So I think that we can talk about it, make sure everybody knows that it's the same thing under the hood, but kind of approach it in two different ways, right?
How it's
Because there's nice interfaces for users, computers, and permissions and all that.
Yeah,
And
well,
there is an
the-
interface for policy.
that's just Windows, I guess. When Windows makes their when Windows makes their managing software like users and computers, and sometimes they make them very intuitive. Like when you go to Windows Admin Center on Windows, it's very very intuitive UI. Like you can actually see everything on, but generally the less intuitive the UI is, the more important that managing software is. Like group policy, it doesn't really matter what the group policy is on the local machine because you totally can make local group policy. but the Active Directory group policy takes precedent. It doesn't really matter what the local group policy is. It's the computer is going to do whatever the Active Directory group policy is telling it to.
Right, but do you know anybody who would try to figure out a way to use group policy to add a user to an Active Directory group?
That's not really possible. You can well, there might be policies in group policy that like trigger a user account creation, but you cannot create a user through group policy.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. On the ground, when you start to work with people, nobody's going to think of those two as the same thing. So we should approach them separately. I think that what's available in all of the specialized management consoles, DHCP, DNS, God help us, Outlook, SQL Server, any of the specialized MMCs, people are going to think of those as separate things, and that's fair because they have separate management consoles. So when it's boots on the ground, people think of it as which tools manage which pieces of the infrastructure, and nobody really cares unless they're a specialist. Nobody really cares if it's part of group policy or not. Yeah, I just got a sanity check from Chad. They care about how do they manage it, and that comes down to which app do they have to use. So I think we should approach it kind of that way.
And especially for new people too, like, the feedback is they don't really know a lot lot this, so I think it's good to tackle both of
That's
those.
what I'm.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to say,
that's what I'm
right?
trying to say.
Yeah.
Because
So
yeah,
that is definitely possible, but that is a little bit Linuxifying the Windows management. Windows, you can totally teach group policy, then you can totally teach users and computers, then you can totally teach DHCP and DNS, but 99% of the time, group policy is so heavily intertwined with users and computers. And group policy's is like, as far as managing Active Directory goes, I will say this in full confidence, a group policy is by far the most important thing that you can ever know is group policy and Active Directory. But the group policy plays heavily with every single service and every single thing that's running on a Windows machine. Group policy manages
doubt.
all of that.
No doubt, but in practice, the people that know the group policy best at GoDaddy still will try to use things like PowerShell commandlets and things like this because they're less error prone, right?
Oh yeah, by far.
So delving into group policy is like editing the registry. You just don't do it unless you have to. So we want to focus on tasks that will help us at the competition, right? So
group policy, I'm going to tell you, that is going to be one of those things. Group policy is basically /etc. If you want, every single configuration file exists in /etc. So you can think of the etc directory as like affecting the configuration of the entire device, of the entire box, start to finish, top to bottom. The etc directory basically manages all of that. That's what group policy is. Group policy has basically a sets of configuration files that affect specific components, but group policy itself affects and configures the entire box, top to bottom, start to finish. It's all managed. It can all be managed by Active Directory. So if you want to override the update policy that they set, that the hackers set on the main domain controller, that you cannot update this box. That was a group policy thing. It was basically, if you wrote in /etc, limit only these users can run the apt command. That's essentially what they did, just on Windows.
Why don't we do this though? Let's think about this, because I don't think we have too much time today, right?
Right.
We're running out of time. Why don't we think about the follow-up tasks, and let's get those on Jira that we want to accomplish in this conversation. So what I'm hearing is a whole session on group policy administration, a different session maybe on computers and users.
Well, we probably have like one session.
Or one session, but
Yeah.
different tasks, maybe
Yeah.
like focused areas, right? That we kind of call out in this discussion that I'm hearing that we want to make sure we address.
So we've got Windows topics under general on Zula right now,
Okay.
Yes.
which has logs, AD group policy, local group policy, patching, eternal blues specifically, and updating
Software.
yeah, specifically taking logs without software that's too difficult for non-masochists to use.
But what if I'm a masochist?
Then you get a special section.
Event viewer.
Event viewer is great, guys. I know what you're talking about.
So outside of Windows, is there anything else that we feel we need to cover? Is there any other learning gaps or things that maybe?
Thank you, Chris.
Any other learning gaps or anything that we think ahead of the competition that we want to cover? Kind of like the same dialogue here.
I
We said
mean,
hypervisors. I think that was one.
on the
That's for the
note,
summer.
That-
No, that's
hypervisors-
right. That's right.
hypervisors are kind of lower on the priority.
Yeah,
list.
it's
We
after
can-
the competition.
We can deal with EXSI, like type 1, type 2 hypervisors later.
Yeah.
I think something that could be beneficial, me and Tristan have talked a bit about it, but Nessus vulnerability scanning,
Yeah.
looking into like, getting like, I guess like an in-place Kali Linux thing and just scan for vulnerabilities.
Yep.
And then setting up scripts to automate that scanning.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if we could see about getting a Nessus license. You can't use Nessus for free. At least I haven't found any way to use it for free.
You can use it for free for a little bit.
Yeah.
For
And
like a
We used to
period of
do
time.
that for the competition. We'd get a trial license. It lasts
Yeah,
plenty long
it's
enough
an
for the
option,
competition.
but I don't know.
But
I
it's
see, I see benefit
It's a
in
big haul.
building our own scripts to kind of doing it ourselves almost, just so because we understand this is the vulnerability, this is what we're looking for. And then we can also implement a firewall rule to block that packet. Because I know you can do that with NF tables very, very easily. There's just an IP tables replacement. And with like PF sense and that kind of thing. And you could directly target those. Because in a lot of cases, like with this year, we were running a very outdated Linux kernel on all the virtual machines. Like 5.9, I think, is what all the VMs were running, which is not good. There was a lot of socket vulnerabilities that were found in that time. Because I guess in that regard, just learning scanning, basic vulnerability identification in that regard, I think I could see benefit in that.
So honestly,
Yeah.
what I wonder if we could do is if we could create like a pre-built, like basically Linux virtual machine that already had Nessus running on it, and then load it onto an ISO. Then you just plug the ISO into the whatever the hypervisor we're using, whether that be ESXi or Proxmox, and then just basically just hit run. Basically, then it'll then boot. It might we might have to I don't know, like provide an email address or whatever for our Nessus activation code, but it then in theory should just work.
Theoretically, it honestly could set up like I could do that on my laptop here. I could set us up a lab with a bunch of vulnerable VMs from like VulnHub and just run an internal network and then have a Kali Linux box, or in my case, Black Arch box. And then we could just run tests and just identify vulnerabilities that way. If we want to get experience that way, I could set that up. That wouldn't be too painful.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
Isaac,
just like that.
did you switch back to Black Arch?
No,
Your
I'm
name is
rolling,
literally I use cubes.
dude. I'm running CubesOS right now. I use Black Arch instead of Kali Linux for some reason. I guess I like Arch better than Debian. Sue me. I don't care now.
Dude, you switched OSs so much. It's hilarious.
Leave me alone, Tristan. At least I don't use Windows.
I don't use Windows.
Yeah, you're even worse
Josh.
than that. You use Mac OS. Please.
No,
Wait,
currently I'm
what?
using
Really?
Ubuntu.
That's even worse.
Oh, wait.
You are not helping yourself.
No.
Well,
But,
in my
Significantly
defense,
better than Mac OS.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this kind of crowd that likes operating system
I see
less
that.
and less, the easier and more to
The
use.
harder
and the
the
more
better.
stable they are.
Okay, Chris. I like it when my operating system breaks every week. Okay.
I
Leave
think
me
if my
alone.
operating system work when I could do
But,
things with it.
Yeah, the
While
stability,
we're
I don't
still
know,
on the
pitch black
note,
for that.
do you want me to set up a lab? I could totally do that.
Yeah.
No, I think
Well, but
that's why I think these
for-
things are good. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's document because here's the other thing is I think we're gonna have a lot of areas that we want to cover. And we should kind of figure out what's the priority and order that we want to do these things in, because as soon as the competition documentation's released, we're going to be very much focused on that. So we want to
Yep.
take advantage of what we can do. Right.
Yep.
The other thing I was thinking about too, and maybe not for this year, but have we thought about reaching out to some of these companies where we want to use their products, like Nessus, and see if they want to sponsor us? Maybe they'll give you a free trial license for a period of time for these competitions. Because what I found is a lot of these companies are interested in doing those things because they actually want you to use their products at a younger age.
Then you're more likely to.
Mhm.
When you go into the
Later.
exactly.
I would love it if we would reach out to Nessus and see if they'd be interested in getting us a license. I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would be surprised if they say no,
Yeah.
because it's in their best interest for you guys using their products.
Yeah. I mean,
Sooner rather
in a
than later.
bank sec, we use Nessus
Right.
for vulnerability scanning.
Right.
It's industry standard at this point.
Yeah. And I don't mind. I can take the lead on some of those conversations with these companies and reach out and see what their interest level is. So,
Yeah, I think that if we were to do that, that'd definitely be a thing that like I would prefer if a coach could do that, because a high schooler approaching the company would provide
fine.
much less like certification and credibility. So
Yep,
I mean,
sounds good.
that would be freaking incredible if we could actually like just hit run and we didn't have to use a burner email every single time to run Nessus. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah.
I used to just tell them to use anything at databasesguy.com and I'll be able to get the mail for them and give them the code.
Similar to that, Jira only lets you have 10 users.
Yep.
When you don't have the pro version.
Mhm.
Yep.
And I might be counting wrong. There could be 11 of us. I'm bad at counting.
Really? Are you
But-
sure?
So there's,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I'm not sure that
I don't.
coaches.
I don't know. Something.
oh, I want to be on it,
Yeah.
But-
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, one
So
coach
take-
account.
counting Henry plus. So how many actual team members do we have? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Josh is in with
5.
us.
Oh, yeah. So 6, right? 3, 9, and then Henry is 10.
10. I think we're right at that
I
threshold.
think, yeah, we'll see.
We're
But
putting.
yeah,
Yeah.
we could combine the coach's account.
Yep.
So why don't we,
But like this thing you were saying about contacting the companies and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
we might be able to do that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, I've so far not been refused, but I haven't asked for anything very expensive. So
Jira is expensive.
it is, yeah. So,
And then like those things we'll prioritize too. It sounds like leading up to the competition, I'm not sure that, the timeline's gonna be tight this year, but things for next year, starting to compile a list of what are these products that we feel would be most beneficial leading into the competition that would help us the most. And I can take the lead on reaching out and contact.
that'd be nice.
Actually, what we could do is we could also actually offer like some class of incentive, because I know what at my robotics team, what we oftentimes did was we approached different companies like, hey, could you sponsor us? If you give us so much money, or if you give us this product or service, then we'll put like your logo on our robot as we're driving it. Like your company name is going to be on the robot. It's going to be seen throughout like the entirety of the robotics competition. And then if you give us this much money, you will put your name on our t-shirt or whatever. So I'm wondering if we could also do that, like request a Nessus license that we could use relatively free, and in exchange we would put their company logo on our t-shirt and I don't know, on our table at the cyber defense competition, maybe. I don't know.
That'd be kind of fun. Yeah. I like the idea of maybe having t-shirts and then we
Yeah, I
could,
like that idea.
Yeah,
Or even
I
the
Different
logo,
t-shirts.
like the logo that we have, that with like the image that we put up on inside of
Yep.
for Ice Age.
Yeah.
We do that. I'm always down for a little graphic design. You can have some fun with that.
Yeah.
Team 5 sponsored by.
So just to, I'm hearing we've got 3 lists. We've got a list of things that we could cover in the next week or two before the scenario comes out. We've got a list of companies we want to contact for sponsorship or permission to use their stuff. And then we also talked about, this was before you locked on, Kristen, we are planning to meet over the summer. That was a unanimous among those who were here. I know you're a senior, but you're still welcome to be coming during the summer. And we were talking about various topics we might cover during the summer. And that's where hypervisors
Yep.
Was discussed. So if I could nominate, I know you put up one list. Can you put up the other 2 lists then? One list would be over the summer, and one list would be companies we should contact.
Companies and products.
Yeah. And you've already created the list for things that we might want to cover in the next week or 2, assuming the scenario doesn't drop.
And those will be in Zula
Zula.
for now.
Yeah.
While we brainstorm them. Only problem with that is
So, and then.
That's where Jira
Okay.
sometimes kind of helps to
Check
them off as you do them,
well, yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
Kristen,
that
you had something to say?
Yeah, that is actually so you did mention that, Dan, and that is something that I at least
It will
want
be
to like throw at you guys. That being, I'm a senior this year. Next year, for the summer, I'm still planning on attending these meetings. But I would also see if I can't like attend the meetings next year as well as like a mentor. I won't be able to be hands-on, of course. Like when competition day rolls around, the college level competition, of course, I could participate in. But if during the high school competition, I would play like a sort of mentor role, like I'm planning on doing for my robotics team. Not I can't pick up a hammer. I can't like pick up a wrench and build crap. But I'm still playing. But I can still be there. Like I can still be present for the meetings. And hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Do you need a refresher on like why Active Directory sucks or why Active Directory needs to burn?
We also have.
I think
the
that goes
precedent-
without saying, Tristan.
We have the precedent with Henry that Henry was able to participate in the international competition.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
that's
which
probably the one.
that's my plan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, so we certainly have precedent for that, and I think that would be welcomed.
Absolutely. I would say for all you seniors as you graduate,
Mhm.
you're always welcome to come back and help the team, support the team, and
The 12-hour drive each way is a little tricky for you.
if possible.
I mean, to be honest, I would love a 12-hour drive. I love long drives so much.
Tristan,
so great.
you are a very special person.
Every Saturday?
Every Saturday.
Actually, twice, because that's one way.
Yeah. But he loves it.
Hey Isaac, you know me about that, bro. Why are you shocked by this?
Because you are a very special boy.
It's a fair point. I'm a very special boy because my mother tells me so. She tells me that every morning. You're a very special kid.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, that's
Does she do that?
I'm surprised that it took you guys that long to get that.
She means that in a education kind of way.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm gonna probably stop the recording here.
Probably smart.
I think that's a
Probably
good place to
And
where's the, let's see. There it is.
Stop sharing. I'm gonna stop
The
sharing.
Windows
Oh.
VMs. I need the
But I
Windows
guess-
VMs.
Should be.
Under here. Yeah, it wasn't showing up.
Oh, that is actually a good point, Isaac. Windows virtual machines. Yeah, Windows does not allow you to just